This is a 1.5 horsepower Sattley air-cooled engine. They're known as the Aero series engines. Sold by Montgomery Ward, made by Nelson Brothers. 1.5 horsepower. I bought a pair of these engines about a year ago, and just getting around to getting this one running properly now. I haven't done anything to the other one. The carburetor is a solid piece of cast iron. It's an overflow style carburetor. It has a fuel pump along with an oil pump in the base. The fuel is pumped up. This is a check valve, and this has two chambers in it, separating the supply side, and this is the overflow drain right here. The carburetor separated into two chambers, like I said. There's a cast iron piece right here with a hole in the bottom of it, and it just separates the turbulence of the fuel pulsating from the intake to the mixture needle, which comes through here. There's a hole in the carb passageway, which the fuel flows into the main mixture needle, and there's a jet, well, a single jet down the throat of the carburetor there. This engine's not perfect. It does run at this point, but it doesn't run correctly, mainly because the throttle butterfly right here, the shaft, is very badly worn. You can see here as I move it. So it kind of spits and sputters a little bit, but it does run. That'll be taken care of later. It has a flyweight type governor mounted on the crankshaft, and a Wyco magneto, flywheel magneto. And I shouldn't say it's a flywheel magneto. The magnets are stationary, and there's an armature that rotates on the crankshaft. The only mechanical thing I had to do to the inside was I needed a new wrist pin bushing on the connecting rod, but it wasn't hard to get done at a machine shop made of brass. Got a nice flat belt pulley on it, but unfortunately somebody cut a notch in it because I guess they lost the crank, so we got a rope started now. It is a crank start originally, but I don't have the crank, obviously. And the other part is this is a gauge for the oil level. There's just a cork float in there, and it's just broken off. Probably have to make something out of a piece of pipe, weld it back on there nicely. It's a heavy engine for the horsepower. I've only ever seen these with the spark plug coming vertically out of the head. The pair that I have is the only set that has the spark plug coming out horizontally. So let me try to start it here. I do have to prime the carburetor. There's a priming chamber. The priming chamber is used to get the engine running until the fuel pump can push up enough fuel to actually make the overflow carburetor work properly. Rope slipped off. As I said, it wasn't going to be a very long run. One, because it doesn't run very well, and two, because I haven't made a mount for it. So I had to constantly keep my hand on it, keep it from jumping off this little cart. It shimmies pretty well, mostly because I think it doesn't, because it's not firing regularly, it tends to want to jump. You can see it starts pretty easily. The priming chamber is nice because when you prime it, it brings it up to a level that is equal to the top of the jet, or the output of the jet, before it starts to overflow back into the tank. So with one pull with the choke on, it's running. This is the priming cap right here. This side, you prime only one side of the priming chamber, and then before it uses that little bit of fuel from the prime, it will have had enough time to pump fuel all the way up, because the check valve doesn't seal very well. It seals enough that the pump works, but it doesn't seal excellently. Gas, inevitably drains back into the tank. But that's alright. I should also mention that there's another little oil cap down there on the magneto, which lubricates the armature, which rotates. And there's also a little felt ring in there. It's kind of an important thing to know, because when I first took it apart, I noticed there was some scoring on the area where the armature rotates, probably from being run without proper lubrication being given. It's an all cast iron engine. The piston's iron. All internal parts are either steel or iron, with some brass in the fuel pump system. They are a nice engine. I would like, once I get this running properly, I'd really like to belt it up to something, because I'm sure it would, with a load, it would run very smoothly. Being it has a very heavy flywheel on it. And about a gallon worth of gas is what it takes to fill that tank up. That was one thing that was really a pain to clean, because it's all one casting, the oil sump and the gas tank are all this one casting, and the only access to the fuel tank you have is through these freeze plugs, 2 here and one on this side here. And boy, was this rusty when I got it. It was a real pain to do. The fuel pump is down inside the tank, so it's really hard to get access to it. You have to pull the whole thing apart. The fuel pump body is pressed into the tank, so you had to heat the whole tank up to get it to expand a little bit to release it. It was kind of a pain, but you know, it ended up working out not bad. The only other thing I have to do is there's a little cap that belongs on this pipe here, which was missing when I got it. I guess I'll probably make it out of a little piece of aluminum or something. This is just this here is just for your throttle speed, governed throttle speed. And that's that for now.